Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to this stream. So, this stream is one I'm going to be doing just to share with you how to set up OpenClaw. And what I'm going to be doing is just thinking through how OpenClaw helps me in my own business and figure out how to set it up to handle different aspects of my business. Now, I've been seeing a lot of videos going around, people who have set up OpenClaw doing amazing things for them. I've used it briefly. I've not quite used it like entirely because I have my own sort of setup for a lot of these types of things. So I wanted to take the time to see if OpenClaw is actually, a really good place to kind of help me run my business. Because when I tested it, it was great, but obviously there were security concerns around running OpenClaw on your system, which I acknowledge. Those are real concerns. Things about opening your gateway and stuff like that, just some security vulnerabilities. So I think I'll just have to say, first and foremost, please, 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 if you're going to be running this in your system, ensure that you're a power user who understands what you're doing, and that you kind of get a good sense of what's going on, because this can sort of expose your system to vulnerabilities. So I think from my perspective, anyways, I think the safest option, which I have actually done, I've tested it out, but I'm going to be doing it as part of this particular stream, is to simply host it somewhere and then essentially interact with it from that hosted location. That way, you're not really exposing your own system to any issues, right? So you have it over there and you're good to go. So that's basically how I'm going to be approaching things. So yeah, I mean, not very used to doing streams, so bear with me if there are any issues and stuff like that. Let me know in the chat as you sort of go along. Actually want to check to see if okay. All right, see, it seems my audio is okay. All right, cool, amazing. So let's do a few things to get started. Just gonna remove this. Just make sure it's all good. Yes. Okay, cool. All right, so the first thing we want to do, if we're going to be hosting this ourselves, the very first thing is that we need to go and use the actual repo itself. So, go to GitHub, OpenClaw, and use the actual repo. The actual repo is actually where it's going to make it much easier in terms of doing the clone. So I'm going to drop the link to that repo in the chat. So it's easy. I'm just going to drop it in the chat over here. Let's see. Just give me 1 second here. Just want to get a few things fixed here. I'm not using StreamYard, so kind of trying out OBS for the first time and trying to figure out how certain things work here. Okay, all good. Anyways, so I'm going to drop it in the chat so that you can get access to it. Hey, Azam, nice to see you. Nice to see you, brother. So I'm going to drop this in the chat right here. Just drop this OpenClaw fork. I'm going to drop it over there. Okay. Not sure why the chat is not working. Anyways, if you can copy it over, that's fine. Just go to search for OpenClaw in the URL, and then you can use it. I'm not sure why my chat doesn't seem to be working. My comments don't seem to be working for whatever reason. I'm so sorry, guys. Just kind of walking through how to do all of this inside. Oh, there it goes. It's working right now. Oh, okay. So it is something like this. Copy this link in here and paste it. Great. Okay, awesome. So this is the link for GitHub if you're going to OpenClaw. So again, if you're new to OpenClaw, by the way, if you haven't used OpenClaw, I would say it's just a personal assistant agent harness that makes it super easy for you to basically handle a lot of your tasks. So, you want an agent that is able to listen to your emails or look at your emails and help you answer your emails, things of that nature. You want it to go do some work for you. So I'm going to kind of walk you through my own system of thinking through how this is going to work for me. But I just wanted to let you know that the very first thing you want to do if you're kind of setting this up is to go fork it. So, but actually, I think it does make sense rather than just talking about how to go about it. I think what makes more sense actually is to share with you exactly how I am thinking about solving my own problems using OpenClaw. So I'm going to open up Excalidraw so it can help us sort of capture some of the things that we might be thinking here. And I'm going to just kind of create buckets of problems that I have, so my business. And I think it's very important to keep in mind that when you are kind of setting up OpenClaw, it is for your business. So what I'm doing is something that works for me, but it's just more as an inspiration of how to think about it for yourself. But obviously, your own business might be different, or what you're doing, or the things you want it to help you do might be different. So you have to sort of think through how that works for you. So for me personally, when I think about my business or think about the ventures I'm involved in, I think about them in a few categories. So the very first one is I am into AI education, right? So I do AI education, which means that I come on YouTube and make videos. I kind of research new topics, new libraries, new frameworks, these types of things, and I make videos about them, right? So if you are interested in things like that, please subscribe and you will get, notified whenever a new video comes up talking about different things. So I talk about agents, MCP servers, MCP apps, agent skills, these types of things. So that's one part of the business that I do. Now I also kind of advise. I advise startups. So startups who are looking to build with AI as well. So AI startup advisory. So these businesses need, or these ventures need, different types of things for, to kind of succeed. And I'm going to explain how OpenClaw is going to help me sort of in the different aspects of my business and the things that kind of are associated with my business, right? I'm going to pull this down a little bit here. I'm going to put a heading here that just says OpenClaw business setup. Okay, so, and it's always good to do this part so that you can sort of understand exactly how this thing is going to be useful for you. Now, I would say this upfront. I'm not someone who's like super, super organized and things like that. And maybe you've seen that already from watching the stream already. But I am someone who just sort of wants to be practical. So I just want to think about what are the things that are really useful for me. And I'll focus on those things. Now, for this particular stream, because I have about an hour or so, I'm going to focus more on the front office, because I think about every business has a front office and every business has a back office. A front office is anything that is dealing with what you're doing with your customers, what we're doing with people, like how you interact with your customers or your audience and things like that. That's sort of your front office. Your back office are all the things that you have to do behind the scenes to keep your business going. So financial, accounting, things like this, how you're sort of taking care of your taxes and stuff like that. That is all happening behind the scenes. So those are like back office operations. Now, if you have a business where you're hiring people and stuff like that, that's also a back office operation. So your front office is how you interact with people. So that's where your marketing, that's where your sales, the interactions you have with businesses, things of that nature. And you see like a lot of the use cases are probably more on the front office than it is about the back office. But those are sort of the kind of things that you see when it comes to your business. So let's talk about the front office for as a starting point. So first off, we have inbound communication, right? So you're going to have inbound communication. So people are going to reach out to you. So inbound communication. So in my case, what does that look like? Well, because I make YouTube videos, um, there's a tendency for people to reach out to me to do collaborations, different types of collaborations. So that could be, you know, tell me, kind of talk about my product and stuff like that. So usually for that type of thing, I want to know what type of product it is. Does it work for me? Is it something that I like? Is it something that is useful to me? Things of that nature. Those things are very important to me before I actually make a decision on whether I want to sponsor. I want to kind of follow along, and do like a sponsorship with that person. These types of things. Like if someone says, "Oh, I'm interested in talking about like an agent platform or something like that," then I want to go use it and try it out and research it, see if it's actually aligns to the type of content that I make before I actually get myself involved in any of these types of sponsorship deals, right? So part of my inbound communication is things like that. Part of my inbound communication is people who are having issues with using a particular agent, or they have a question and things like that. They could drop me a YouTube comment, which I encourage you to do. If you have any questions, anything like that, any comments, remarks, please drop the comments in the description. Or people who have outright, needs. So people have reached out to me and said, "Oh, can you just, can you spend 1 hour with me just thinking through this particular problem," or stuff like that. So a lot of the inbound is stuff like that. They come either through YouTube comments, or direct email messages, right? So that's a big chunk of something that I would probably need to automate, because usually when those messages come in, you want to know exactly, that they have come in. Obviously, you have your email address and things like that, which is fine, but you want to be able to kind of get quick research or background work that needs to be used to reply to that person if that's a need. Now, I think you can outsource some of these things, yes, to AI. Personally, I believe that I want to be in charge of these things. So, yes, I want the AI to analyze it and give me a good sense of what's going on. But ultimately, I want to be the one responding to any inbound message that is coming in. So it's either I'm approving or making some modifications before that message goes out to whoever is on my, like, whoever has sent me that particular message, right? So again, so inbound, that's inbound communication. Now, the other piece that happens in on the AI education side is that I do a lot of research. So I have to research, content that I make. So content research, this is a big one, right? Content research. I have to make sure that all the content that I'm making is well researched, to make sure that I'm, presenting something that is useful to whoever is consuming that content. So I have to do some content research. I have to also figure out what's happening out there, like what's new, what has been released, what is it, its value, test it out, make sure it's working fine and stuff like that. But with how quickly things are being released these days, like so many things are being released all the time, like it's like constantly happening. So again, it's important that I keep track of what's going on. So maybe check Twitter, go to explore GitHub repositories and see which frameworks are doing well. Have like my LinkedIn feed, active and looking at it to see, what's new, what are people talking about in the community and stuff like that. Look at YouTube as well. There are a few amazing people that I follow on YouTube who are always sort of plugged into new frameworks and new libraries and things of that nature. So a lot of what I have to do is content research. So this is actually a very, very good one for OpenClaw. I've actually been trying it out with Codex, not OpenClaw, but with Codex. With the Codex app, I set up an automation that is able to go do some research for me and come back and create something. I'll actually make a different video about it, like, which is amazing, like the automation capabilities inside Codex. And I don't want to sort of go off topic here, but basically automations inside Codex have been one way I've been able to do automated AI research, where it goes and does some research and comes back and actually gives me like the output somewhere. But you can have OpenClaw do something like that for you, right? So these are two big aspects of my business now. So and those are the two I want to focus on. There are other aspects of it as well. When I do the content research, I have to also sort of prepare the content in terms of, I don't like to write scripts. I'm not really a scripted person that much. I know it's kind of typical for a lot of content makers to write scripts. I don't write scripts. I just basically kind of have an idea and I just riff with it, and then I can do some editing. Okay, then editing, then publishing, and then you share it out. And then obviously, if there's responses on the video, make sure that I am responding as quickly as possible to help people and things like that. The other piece that I do around content research is not related to just videos, but also making open source materials. So I make a lot of things like skills and plugins and stuff like that. So I have to research which ones I'm using, which ones are making sense for me, and then I get to also build that and make it available to people. All right, so this is sort of what my AI education business looks like. Now, AI startup advisory is a little bit different. I think what's basically going there is like people who might want consulting services for understanding how to use AI in their startup. So it's mainly consulting. And again, it still requires inbound communication. So there's inbound communication here as well. So people will ask me questions about, stuff like they want to build and how they can infuse AI into that and stuff like that. And I get to provide them with my thinking about it and show them like different ways that they can do that. So that's also inbound communication that comes in. And then there's also preparing consultation materials. So this would be like preparing things like a roadmap, documentation, things of that nature. Just sort of putting together like the work that they need, the work that has come up and things like that. So those are things that I need. Now, OpenClaw can help me here as well because it's also kind of research. Now you're getting the gist, right? It's inbound communication, is content research. Those are the two things I think from a front office perspective that I'm doing. Now, from a back office perspective, and we're not going to be touching upon this, we're not going to be setting this up today. We're going to do that later on. But basically, finances, right? Like finances. That's one. So how do you deal with your taxes and things like that? So again, I think one thing that if I were doing this with OpenClaw, my approach would be to use Stripe as an integration, so you can go pull things from Stripe. One of the things actually, and this is something I want to build, and I want to use OpenClaw to do this, is go pull all my receipts from all the emails and then use that to help me with my taxes, because that's a huge one. I think that's probably going to be one of the biggest use cases for me for OpenClaw is helping me do prepare for my taxes. And the tax season is around, so I'm definitely going to be making some videos about this very soon because I need this one badly. Okay, awesome. So these are the things that I need. I think finances sort of cuts across. So whether it's finances from, sponsorship or whatever it might be, or it's, the startup advisory, finances or whatever. So all of that, they turn into finances. I also maintain a Shopify app, and I think a Shopify store. So I kind of manage that, and that could be an interesting one as well. So that could be something that is interesting to do and manage using OpenClaw. But I think for now, inbound communication, content research, these are two that we can set up very, very easily. Now, like I said, I don't want to set up OpenClaw to run on my system. Instead, I'm going to be hosting it to run on an instance called fly.io. I already actually installed it. Let's see. Oh, sorry about that. 9. All right, let's get this signed up. 978-784. And by the way, I've been loving using Atlas as my browser. I actually got around to making it my default browser moving forward, just because of how cool it is. Okay, let me see if I can sign in. Okay, so yeah, so here it is. I'm in fly.io. So you can sign up to fly.io. I think it's pretty cool if you're looking to kind of host it. So actually, I have one of my OpenClaws hosted in fly.io. I have a video on that, by the way. So if you want, you could go check out that video on how to actually install and deploy OpenClaw to fly.io. So, but that's what I'm going to be using. So in terms of where we're going to be deploying this application that we're building, we're going to be deploying it to fly.io. Now, you could also use things like Google Cloud Run or anything else that is basically just a hosted service. It can run there easily, no issues. Now, the only thing I would say that it's not going to be able to do are like Mac specific stuff. Like, like if you have like Mac OS specific actions that you want OpenClaw to run, it won't be able to run that when it is running in fly.io, because basically those are Linux machines. They're not usually like Mac OS machines that are running in fly.io. So it's not going to be the same in terms of things like that. Like it's not going to have a camera access or stuff like that, which are things that a Mac would have. Like if the Mac computer would have camera access, so you'd be able to use your webcam. I mean, I'm sure that there are use cases for that. But again, I think if you want to be really, really safe, my advice would be to deploy your OpenClaw to this. I actually believe I'm on a free tier. So the free tier is actually generous. And I think this is something that you're going to need. Okay, and in terms of like where to use or how to interact with my OpenClaw, personally, I prefer Slack. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be setting up for Slack as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to set up. So this is the way I would set it up if I were doing this on my own, okay? So the very first thing I'll say is like you can go into the GitHub repo. In the GitHub repo, there are a bunch of ways to install OpenClaw. There is sort of using the npm install, which is fine, but that's not necessarily what we're going to be doing. We're going to be installing from the source. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be installing it directly from the source. I have my Codex app. I'm going to close this up. I'm going to open up my Codex. I have my Codex app here. So we're going to use Codex as my IDE. I've been using Codex as my IDE. I don't know if any of you has tried to use Codex as an IDE fully, but in recent times, I've actually been using Codex as an IDE fully. So I have an OpenClaw app right here, and I'm going to just get it to help me clone that repo. So we're just going to start a new thread inside a folder. So I'm going to add a new thread here. So I have a folder called OpenClaw. By the way, you can just do this, add a new project. And inside that project, you could have, I'm just going to create a new project actually just from scratch. I'm going to call this Biz OS OpenClaw. I'm going to create this project, and we're going to use this project moving forward. So this is the way Codex app works, and I'll encourage you if you can use Codex app. Now I'll also show you what it looks like inside Cursor once we set it up. But basically, the only thing we need to do here is to simply fork the repo, right? We need to fork the repo. So to fork the repo, you need to go into the repo itself and just simply fork the repo, right? Now, the reason we're forking the repo versus, okay, I think it says actually, I just forked it today. So, okay, so because it's been forked already, let's actually go to the fork that we already have, right? I think it makes more sense that way. So, but anyways, if you wanted to fork it, you just click on the fork and it should be there. Good to go, but I've already forked it. So let me just find OpenClaw. Just gonna remove this. OpenClaw. Okay, so we have it right here, right? So it's already forked, so no issues. Sorry, just 1 second. Okay, OpenClaw. Oh, actually, we'll go /OpenClaw. Okay, yeah, so this is our OpenClaw fork. So once you fork it, then you can just walk out of the fork. Now, the reason why I'm using a fork rather than cloning, which is what has been suggested, if you kind of read the stuff, it says clone. But if you clone it, then it's going to be difficult for you to kind of keep track of what's going on in terms of their own updates, right? It's just going to come into your system, and then that you're going to lose track of every time they're doing their own updates on their end. So this is why I'm actually doing a fork versus a clone. Okay, so again, we can just simply go ahead and clone this particular repo. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to go back into my Codex app, and I'm just going to do it right here from the terminal. I'm just going to go ahead and clone this particular repo, and I'm going to have a version of that repo inside my Biz Oz OpenClaw project. Okay, awesome. So let's just make sure we have it. So yes, we do have it. So I can just go ahead and do a CD into this particular one. And okay, so now we should have the full, yeah, so we now have the full repo in here. Okay, let's clear this out. Now the reason I'm using Codex as well is just because I want to be able to tell it to do certain things and stuff like that, right? So that's why I'm using it as well. Okay, now actually, just to make it really easy, I'm gonna add one more project, but this time around I'm just gonna add this project directly, so it's just easier for me to use, and then I can delete these projects that are not useful. Okay, so in here, when I click this, then I can just directly use it from here. So if we go back to the repo, it says to run this successfully, you need pnpm install is the first thing we want to do. So pnpm install, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we get to install all the dependencies. Now, one thing I'll say about OpenClaw is that it's really heavy. There's a lot going on with this stuff. It has quite a lot going on. Now, it suggests to do the build, so you could just go ahead and do the build as well. Okay, Azam says he has a PC running Ubuntu 24. I want to install OpenClaw. What would be the difference between a physical server and a cloud server if I install? I think it's the same thing. The same thing. It can run on a Unix system or a Linux system. So Ubuntu should be completely fine. It should run it comfortably. Personally, I just love the idea of running it in an isolated machine. But if you have like a separate machine, I don't have a separate machine, so as a result, I want to keep it as far away from my devices as possible. But yes, absolutely, Azam, I think you can run it however you want actually. So I think it should be fine. I don't think there should be any issues with regards to running it on an Ubuntu physical PC. Actually, it's great because you get the full spectrum of stuff that you need. Okay, awesome. So let's go ahead and do a PNP build. So we do the UI build and then we do the other build as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And the build was successful. Let's do the full build. Okay. Good. We're doing all the build. Now while doing that, the next one is PNP OpenClaw onboard, install daemon. So this is now how we get to do the onboard. Now, if you remember, in the last video, in the video I made where I was sort of introducing OpenClaw, when it was still called CloudBot and then MultBot. Actually, I was making a video. It was called CloudBot when I started making the video. In the middle of the video, it changed to MultBot, and 2 days after, it became OpenClaw. Crazy. All right. But that hasn't stopped people from using it or discourage people. People still love this thing so much, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now let's see how we onboard. Now, so typically, if you're running this locally on your system, all you need would be like the OpenClaw onboard. But because we're running it from the repo itself, that's why we need to use the PNPM prefix as a starting point. All right, so this is us. I'm just going to increase this a little bit. So this is OpenClaw running here from the GitHub repo. Okay, so this is fine. It's telling me that the security warning. So of course, like I said, have to be mindful, security conscious of this thing. It's crazy. Yeah, just keep that in mind. Okay. So, and also, I think one of the things I noticed as well from a security standpoint, you can always run this, like you can always run these two commands to make sure that you're constantly sort of checking for vulnerabilities. I would say if you're going to be hosting this somewhere, I think, and a lot of the vulnerabilities, by the way, comes from skills. So if you append skills to your OpenClaw, then you're going to see some vulnerabilities that comes from that. So just keep that in mind as you sort of work through. So running these regularly would help you identify if there are security issues, and then the fix would help you see if there's a fix for it. So okay, I'm agreeing that I am submitting myself to the security risks. So I agree with the security risks, so which is fine. So then again, I can do a quick start to get started. So here is going to ask me to use existing values, update values, or reset. Now I'm starting all the way from scratch, so I'm going to do a reset, and it's asking me config only, config plus creds plus sessions. So I'm going to do a full reset, by the way. All right, cool. Now, this is basically what the setup looks like. Like I said, I mean, you could use whatever you want. You could use Telegram, you could use WhatsApp. For me personally, I'm going to be using Slack because Slack works for me. And one of the reasons I actually love Slack as well is that Slack has different channels, which means I can set up my business in such a way that, okay, inbound or leads or support or content research. I can set up different channels inside Slack for it. I think you can do that in Telegram as well, but I just love Slack. Again, do what works for you. If it's WhatsApp that works for you, that's completely fine. Do WhatsApp. If it is Slack that works for you, obviously do Slack. Okay. All right, what is the advantage of using development source? Okay, that's a question from Azam. For me personally, the advantage is really that I have full control of the the source code, and I can use that. I can kind of make modifications. Like if I find like security vulnerabilities, I can make patches to it and things like that. But also just because I'm actually deploying it to a cloud system, that's the reason why I'm using that. If I'm just running it on my system, which is what I've done before, then I would just simply just do a simple install, like I need to just install it on my system. But the reason I'm using that from source is just because I'm going to be deploying it. So I need the full code base to be able to deploy it wherever I want to deploy it. That's it. That's it. No, nothing more in that regard. Okay. So let's go over to this, and basically I'm going to be using Slack socket mode for this. So here I want to know what it's asking, what should my Slack bot display name be? So here I'm saying it's going to be OpenClaw, which is fine. We're going to use OpenClaw here. And then this is like a manifest, a Slack manifest. Now, if you're not familiar with Slack, maybe just a little bit, you can go to my video earlier on for this. But basically, all you really need to do is to set up a Slack account. So the best way and the easiest way to set up a Slack account is to do api.slack.com/apps. And you could just go ahead and create a new app. So let's do that actually from scratch. Now you can do that from a manifest, which I would encourage you to do. If you're doing it from a manifest, it means that you can just simply copy this entire thing, right? Just everything here. Now the only problem I'll say is that when you copy it like this, these lines are gonna cause a problem. So this is why we have a coding assistant close to us. So I'm just gonna tell it, help me clean up this manifest file for Slack. So it's gonna clean it up, remove these lines. I should have told it explicitly to remove the lines, but I believe it's smart enough. It's smart enough to to do this. Maybe I should just tell it stop or create a manifest file for me and remove the lines. All right, now this is one of the cool things, by the way, about Codex, is that you can steer it in a different direction. A lot of coding assistants, you have to wait till they finish up before you actually do anything. But this one actually allows you to steer it in any direction that it feels. So I don't know. I mean, can I wait for this stuff? Let's see. It's creating. Let's see if it's gonna create our manifest file and remove those. Okay, so it's gonna be doing that. Now I can open my cursor right here, by the way, so that you could see like the full stuff that is going on here. So this is the full thing, and this is the manifest file that it is actually creating. So so it's done the work already, which is cool. I'm gonna grab the manifests, and yeah, clean the manifest. It already did that, and then it added all that stuff, which is good. Okay, so I think all I need to do is copy that and paste it in here. All good. So I have my OpenClaw app in my manifest, and I can just hit the next button and I can create this. Now, when you create this, it's going to generate a bunch of things. Now those things, the one thing I need an app token. So I'm just going to call it OpenClaw app token. So, and then I'm going to add a scope called connections right. Okay, and then generate. So this is what allows you to do the stuff. Now I'm going to go ahead and do something here. So pardon me, I'm going to move this to a different screen so that I can enter in the secrets. All right, because I don't feel like doing this twice. So, but I'll show you exactly what I'm doing as well. All right, so I'm gonna add like a .env file to the root of my project, .env, and inside the .env file, I'm just simply going to add my Slack. I'm just gonna add Slack. I'm gonna add Slack app token. I'm gonna show you the example that I'm gonna create an example one for as well. Slack bot token as well is needed for this. Actually, those are the only two things that are needed. A Slack app token and a Slack bot token are the only two things that you need. So I get my app token, which is fine. And then I can go into OAuth and permissions, and I can, you know, okay, I think this is all good. All I need to do is actually just install the app. So I'm just going to go ahead and install the app, allow, and this should install it. And now I have a bot token. I'm actually going to probably reset this one as it is viewed now. So anyways, I'll reset this at a later time. Okay, cool. So that's all we need. We need a bot token, and we need our app token. We've already created all of that. So we store that in a .env file. So I'm just gonna say it's in a .env file when I continue. Let's see. Okay, so we have this and it's ready to go. Let's go back to our app. I'm gonna pull it back down now that I've moved away from this. Okay, now there are other things that you need as well. So built in. Okay, there are other things that you need. You need your, I'm gonna close this out. You also need your OpenClaw gateway token. You need some of these things. Now, some of them are not really necessary. Some of them are, like a gateway token is for when you are using SSH to interact with OpenClaw. You obviously need a model provider. So if you have your model provider keys, so OpenAI, Anthropic, all of these types of things, you need all of that inside your .env.example, and you need to just sort of fill these out, like depending on what you're using, right? And this is for the Slack bot token and Slack app token, like I told you about. So basically, I think when you create this, I think the first thing to do actually would be to just copy the env file, copy this entire thing into your .env file. I didn't do that. That wasn't the approach I was taking, but actually that is probably what I should do, is to just copy this entire thing into your .env file. Now, you're not going to use all of them. So, just focus on the ones that you're using and uncomment them. Whichever one you're using, just uncomment it and just add it to your .env file. Okay. All right. So that's basically all you need to do to get that set up. So I'm just going to very quickly uncomment the things that I need, that are important. I think it's important to have some kind of model. So I'm going to be using OpenAI, and you can also use Anthropic. I'm going to have these two. Now, of course, you can use any model that you, or any model provider that you want. But of course, you want to use the ones that are really, really good. I like the OpenAI ones. I'm going to just create a simple key for OpenAI. I'm just going to go into my OpenAI project and create one. I'm going to create one for Anthropic as well. But like I said, you just choose the one that makes the most sense for you and use it. All right, so let's see. Create a new one for OpenClaw. And I'm going to create this. Okay, so I have one for OpenAI now, and I'm just gonna make it so that it's a little difficult to read. So I'm gonna do it this way. I'm actually probably gonna change them as well anyways, because it's all visible right now. Not great to have my API keys out there. So I need to deprecate all of them at some point, maybe after this session, because I might have mistakenly showed the entire thing. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go to the cloud developer platform for Anthropic, and I'm going to also get my API key. Try and get my API keys right here. Okay, so log in. Settings, API key. Where is the API key? I'm trying to get an Anthropic API key. So I think it's console actually, .claude.ai is what I need to go to. Yes, and I'm just going to log right in. Okay, taking me some time here. Okay. All right. Just gonna go ahead and log in a second. I have my key right now, so I'm just gonna add my keys. So create new key, OpenClaw key, add, copy key. So this is my Anthropic key. Okay, hopefully it's not too clear, but I'm gonna take these and drop them into my .env file, which is right here, and hopefully I'm being sleek enough that it's not visible. Okay, let's see. All right, so basically Slack app token, Slack bot token, OpenAI API key, Anthropic, and I think this one also is a recommended one. Cancel this one right here is recommended. and I'm going to generate like an SSL for it very soon. So I will add that too. So I'm going to add it right here. So to do this SSL thing, I'm just going to go into Open SSL rand. So that they have like a really good way for you to generate this specific one. So I'm just going to do that. So let's just do that right here. So do this and it will generate a key. Again, I'm going to change this before I actually deploy. So, okay. All right. So we have everything we need. We have our OpenAI key. We have a Slack app token, Slack bot token, OpenAI API key, and so on and so forth. Okay. So all of those things are ready to go. Let's go back to our build. So actually, we lost that session, but this is what we're doing. So I'm just going to start it again. So that's sort of OpenClaw onboard, install daemon. So I'm just going to go and say yes again, quick start, use existing values. I'm going to go to Slack and I'm going to modify settings. Slack already configured. What do you want to do? Skip, leave as is, modify settings. So Slack bot name is this. Slack tokens already configured. Yes. Configure Slack channel access. So here you could decide whether you wanted to have access to all of your channels or if you wanted to have access to some channels. So this is probably the best way to do it, is to say, I want it to have access to some channels. So now you can go into your Slack, right? So I have my Slack application, slack.com. I have my Slack open, so I can open it up here. And essentially, I can decide which channels I want it to have access to. So I can create maybe a new channel for this. You can just say create channel. And I'm going to call this OpenClaw General. Can be one channel that I want it to have access to. And then maybe I want it to also have access to, I'm just going to skip this. Okay, let's just do this. That's fine. And then I can also add another channel called inbound. I'm just going to preface them with OpenClaw just so that I can decide. So I can do OpenClaw inbound messages. And I can just do this as well. Yeah, whatever. And you can create as many channels obviously as you want. So again, let's go back and look at the channels that we've created. This is the one we wanted to have access to. So let's just make sure that we add that. So hashtag this space. And I want to go back and look at the other channel that I had. That was the OpenClaw General. So hash OpenClaw General. Okay, so it's added those two channels into our allowed list. Okay, so channel lookup, an API error occurred, missing scope. So it's saying that we need to add a scope to our channel. It's saying that there are 21 eligible skills. So now let's configure skills. We'll come back to the Slack and make sure everything is okay. But skills is really what makes OpenClaw powerful, right? If you want your OpenClaw to be super, super powerful, what's really going to make it powerful is the number of skills that it has attached to it. Now, there are some skills that come out of the box. Apple Notes. This is not going to be relevant to me because I'm not using that. Apple Reminders, these are not relevant to me. Claw Hub, yes, this is relevant because this is where I can find other skills as well. So making it available. So Claw Hub is just basically a place for all the skills. I can just show you very quickly. So if we go to Claw, is it Cloud Hub or Claw Hub? seems like it's now Claw Hub instead of, okay, so Claw Hub. Yeah, so it's Claw Hub. And so in Claw Hub, you're going to see a lot of amazing skills right here. So you can see all these skills. So all these are skills. You can also you can also create your own skills. So as an example, I have created some skills in here and you can look at some of the skills. I don't know what, okay, yeah. So these are the skills that I have created. I created a skill that allows you to deploy this stuff to fly. 530 downloads, which is pretty cool. And then I created a skill that allows you to also create ChatGPT apps. It has about 612 downloads, which is cool. It's doing well. I need to add more skills. But anyways, you can always sort of create your own skill and upload it into Claw Hub if you want to share with people and stuff like that. But like, anyways, there are so many really cool skills that are out here that you can easily download. To add the skill, you can just basically come here and follow the instructions and add the skill. Now, one of the things I really love that the folks at OpenClaw have done is to add a security scan. Actually, I want to see what my ChatGPT apps. Let's see. I want to see what my security score is. Let's see what my security score is because I haven't checked that so far. So let's see. Ooh, it says OpenClaw says it is benign, high confidence, and then Virus Total says it's suspicious. Interesting. That is insane. Why suspicious? I can't really say for sure why it's saying that it is. That is insane. They added this sort of Virus Total scan. OpenClaw says it's fine. And it's saying, oh, suspicious. Why is it suspicious? Nobody knows. Suspicious patterns flagging the skills. Review the scan result before using if you're, oh wow, this is crazy. I haven't checked it since they did this. This one is benign according to Virus Total. But OpenClaw is marking it as suspicious as well. Okay, so I need to go figure out, and this is really good actually. I like the fact that they've made it very easy for you to kind of know if a skill has a security vulnerability or not, because that's really where a lot of the challenges come from when it comes to using OpenClaw. The biggest challenges actually come from the skills because people can embed or do prompt injection into the skills, which can cause big problems for you. So again, take care of these things. So I see why they're marking this as suspicious. It's like the credentials. So instructions require several secrets and persistent storage, but the skill registry metadata claims to no required env vars or permanent. Okay, I see. All right, so I need to go make changes to it, and this is good. This is good for anyone who's creating skills to know what the requirements are, and then make sure that your skills are up to par from a security standpoint. So I love this new addition that they've made is good. So it means that OpenClaw is taking security a little bit more seriously, and this is like a to-do in my task list to go figure out how to make sure this is much more cleaner. So yeah, so that's something I have to go spend some time doing. All right. Okay, cool. So let us continue along. Now that we have an understanding of what skills are. So these are other things that you could add. Give providers. I mean, Google Workspace. I think Google Workspace is an important one for me. Just because that allows me to interact with Gmail, calendar, drive. So your entire business. And I think for most people who are using OpenClaw, I think this is the biggest one in terms of what skill that you need the most, because this allows you to manage your entire sort of your work. So basically everything around emails, calendars, documents that you're working with and stuff like that. So I think those would be the ones that I really care about the most. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit enter. Now it says preferred node manager for skill installs. I'm going to use PNPM. I love PNPM a lot. So I'm just going to go ahead and use it. And now it's going to go ahead and install the two skills that I have mentioned. Now, because I'm going to be using Google, I wonder if I need to also, I probably need to, it does this all the time. It always asks for Google Places API key. I'll say no to that. It's asking for Notion API key. Now, Notion is something I use quite a lot in my workflow. So that might be an interesting one to also take a look at. So let's go to Notion. Let's see. I think with Notion, you can go to their dev instance and grab like an API key. I already have an API key for Notion, but just to show you exactly how it works, I think Notion developer, there's a Notion developer portal which is out there. So I think developer.notion, and you can basically log in and get an API key. Let's see, I have to go back to this. View my integrations. You see all your integrations. So you can basically create a new integration. I'm gonna call this OpenClaw. I use Notion for my task management, so it's a really good one to have. So I'm gonna be using this. And I'm gonna create it, and basically it's just gonna ask me, it's gonna give me some internal integration secrets and stuff like that. Now, it has the ability to read content, update content, and insert content, which is fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and show and copy. I'm gonna have to refresh all of this stuff as well. So copy. And maybe what I need to do is to actually refresh it right away. So I'm gonna reload this and refresh this token so that I can actually use a new one. All right, so I'm playing this game of trying to figure out how to do this without exposing secrets. Okay, API key is equal to this, and save. All right, so now we can come back and see what this is. So set Notion API key for this. Oh, and you can do this as well. Okay, now I'm sharing all of my API keys in the open. I need to refresh all of these tokens, make sure that they're not usable. Okay, enable hooks. So I'm gonna skip this for now. And then gateway service already installed, so we can restart that. So gateway service is restarted. And okay, so iMessage failed, hatch in TUI recommended. Wake up, my friend. Okay, so okay, so hello, let's see if it's running. There is no output. Why is there no output? Okay, because I'm using Olama Gemma. Let me just switch to models so I can pick up a model. And what we want is, I want to see OpenAI Codex. I want to use the Codex 5.2 and see if that works. Let's see config or settings. I need to actually use the right model. So set model, OpenAI Codex, GPT Codex 5.2. Okay, so the default model is this. I need to find how to set the right model. So maybe what I can do here is to find the model, the settings right here. For model definition, So let's go over here and see. The easiest way to do this, actually use the CLI and OpenClaw on board. Yeah, let's do OpenClaw on board. So slash, but normally I'm supposed to be able to do the settings, open settings. For whatever reason, when I do open settings, it's not opening it up. Let me try it in here. See, let's try OpenClaw on board or OpenClaw TY. Let's try OpenClaw TY here. Okay, it's still in Llama, so there's the settings. Control C. Okay, open. Let's do. Okay, let's open OpenClaw again. Okay, and we need to do models. I want to do default model. OpenClaw setup. Okay, OpenClaw. Is it -- setup? Or just setup? Setup. Okay, so some reason, okay, the config is right here. So let me open the config. Okay, so art, Anthropic, let's see, profiles, Anthropic default, Anthropic key, Olama. So the setup is fine. Okay, providers, this is where the problem is. It's using the wrong providers. Okay, so these are all the providers that I have added here. So I need to update them. All right, now to make this super easy, I have Olama default, Anthropic default, models provider. The default is not clear. Let me just go back to the documentation and check setting default model. All right, so agents default, sub agent model. Okay, agent default. Well, this is models. Okay, agent default. Okay, so this is it. Okay, cool. This is why it was going mad. So we can use Anthropic Sonnet 4.5 as a primary. So let me see. Let's see if this works for us. Claire, OpenClaw TY. Still picking up Olama for whatever reason as my. It's picking up Olama. Okay, so I'm gonna terminate this session entirely, and I'm going to try again. OpenClaw TY. Okay, All right, now it picked it up. I think it picked it up. So it's telling me my credit balance is too low. I need to go to plans and billings and updates. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that right now. I'm gonna increase my billing. Okay, so yeah, I think yeah, I have a -$1. Well, Anthropic is really making a lot of money from people. I would say this because their models are so good, but cost a lot. So I think if you want to get the best outcome out of OpenClaw, I would say probably using some of their flagship from Anthropic is fine. So let me try now. Hello. Okay, seems like our OpenClaw is running right now because I've added some money into my stuff. Okay, cool. So it's ready to go. Okay, amazing. Beautiful. All right. Okay, so what are the things that we need to set up to make this really useful? What are the things that we need to set up here? I think first off, I want to just walk through how we get this into the fly.io, make sure everything is all good. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell our agent right here, I want to deploy this repo to fly.io. Now, if you want to deploy to fly.io, I have that skill, but I want to walk through it along with you. So first off, you need to go to OpenClaw, and in their documentation, go to documentation. In their documentation, you can find exactly how to deploy this. Let's see. So deploy to fly, deploy on render. Okay, yeah, fly.io is the first one. So deploy on fly.io. So again, you have to have flyctl CLI installed. I already have this installed, so I'm good to go on that front, but this is the only thing you have to install. If you want to install it, you can go over here and basically do brew install flyctl, and that should install it on your Mac, or you can also use this to install this using a script. And there's also examples for Windows and stuff like that. So that's the fastest way to get started. You need to have a fly.io account. Like I said, it works with free tier. So if you don't have money to buy a new computer or Mac Mini, where are the Mac Mini? Are they even available? Is it even easy to find a Mac Mini right now? Because all the Mac Minis have been bought up by folks right now. Anyways, if you have a Mac Mini, that's fine. If you don't, then this is the right way for you to do it. Okay, so so model art, this is that, da da da. Now you know what I'm gonna do, because I'm a little lazy right here. I am just gonna tell it. I'm gonna tell Codex to do this. All right, so Codex, I want to deploy this repo to fly.io. Here is the documentation on how to do this. I already have fly.io set up on my CLI. So proceed with the CLI commands. All required API keys are in my .env file. So copy as needed and deploy. Okay, and the documentation I should have dropped right here. Okay, so it has a full understanding of the documentation. And maybe we create a codex skill for this as well. I only have I have an agent skill for it, but maybe a codex one would be nice. Let's see. I think I have that in a repo somewhere. So let me see if I can pull it out. My marketplace. By the way, if you're looking for plugins and stuff like that, I have a few of these plugins right here. Okay, it's not here. I don't have the deploy to fly one, but I should have it somewhere. Should have it somewhere. Let's search for it. Fly. Yes, I have it here. So this is my skill for fly, which is beautiful. So I can just use this skill. So again, I can tell it to use the skill. You know what? So instead of doing all of this stuff, I'm gonna say use the skill creator. This is why I love Codex, by the way. You can create a skill very easily. Use the skill creator to create a skill for this based on this. So I added a skill for it already. And use the $ skill installer to install in here. Okay, so let's see if it does a good job of this. Now this is gonna take it some time. I expect it's not gonna be like a short session. So this is gonna be a pretty long session for it to do this. So in the meantime, curious, any questions? Any questions so far? I know I've just been sort of going up and down with all of this. I promise future streams are gonna be much more streamlined. Still getting a hang of a lot of things while I'm going along the way, but curious to see if anyone has any questions or thoughts or anything like that. All right, so it's just gonna go do the yeah. So it confirmed. I confirmed the fly page on this repo. I've loaded both the required skilled instructions. Next, I'm pulling the fly. So it's gonna be able to do all this stuff. 5.3 Codex is amazing. It can do some really remarkable stuff. Some really cool stuff. All right, let's see how it's doing. Okay, so this is gonna do this is gonna take care of our entire thing. And like I said, you could basically just use my skill to do this. So if you're using cursor as well, all you really need to do is just upload that skill. And you could just go in here and grab the skill from here. The skill has like a bunch of different things like templates, like the fly.toml templates, the .env example. It has all the stuff that you need to essentially run this stuff. It has the molt.json, has everything. So basically, it's just going to be able to run it directly and then set it up for you. So again, you don't really need to worry too much about it. It's going to do all that stuff. Look at it. It's actually deploying right now. It's deploying this stuff. So go to fly.io and open up the dashboard and do a refresh. It's deploying right now. So it's right here. It's actually just working through it and deploying all of that stuff. So that's the easiest way to do it. Again, you don't need to really go buy a system or whatever it is. You can just basically run this thing on something isolated and set up your entire product. Now, I'm not going to have enough time actually to walk through the configurations that I wanted to work through today, like the Google, Gmail, all of that stuff. Because today we just basically spent it getting the OpenClaw set up itself. So I'm gonna do another stream maybe tomorrow where I'm gonna actually go through setting up everything step by step, showing you how I'm setting up my incoming emails and all these types of things. So this was just mainly just to get the first piece of it set up. Now we're going to go into the actual real deal tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be doing another stream where I'm going to actually do the configuration. Okay, cool. So it seems like this stuff is still running. Let's see if it has completed. I'm gonna do a quick refresh right here. So it's just going through and doing all that stuff. Now, one of the things I've been thinking about when it comes to like how to deploy your OpenClaw on something like this is, do you need a database for it? And I think you probably do. You know, you probably do need a database because all the chat, like the back and forth chat you're having with it, you probably want to store it somewhere. So it does make sense actually to have something like a chat interface that sorry, a database, sorry, that where you can store all of that information. So that could be something that we could do. It's also added my secrets. You can see right here, it's added all the secrets that I need. It copied all the secrets from my .env file and it made it available here. So this is pretty cool. The skill that I built is really amazing. And basically, I just basically took the entire documentation and gave it to Claude, and it built the skill out. So it's not, I say when I build the skill, it's actually Claude building the skill. So yeah, and you can do this very easily. You could just basically, if you want to build your own skill for deploying to any other machine, any other cloud instance like Google Cloud, just copy the entire documentation, take it step by step, provide it to your tooling. If you're using Codex app as an example, you could just basically tell it to create the skill based on that, like it just did right here. If I actually go to skills, you probably see the new skill has now been created for me. For this is prepare PR. Okay, review PR, manage PR, no, mintify, build it. Okay, interesting. They've added some new stuff into this thing. Agent SDK, ChatGPT apps, those were the skills that I did. Let's see, do we have any ones that I just added? Like the one they just added, did it add it? I don't think it's added it yet. Oh, I think I probably need to refresh first. Let's refresh and see. Did it add the fly skill? Or just used it and then it comes the OpenAI skill stuff comes with Vercel deploy. So you could use the Vercel deploy for it as well, which is cool. Oh, I don't see it. I don't see it though. I don't see my fly skill. Where is my fly skill? Okay. Maybe I need to tell it explicitly to install it as well. Or it hasn't, maybe it hasn't done that. Okay, secrets are staged correctly. I'm running fly deploy. So it's still running. It takes time to run. So it's still running. So just give it a little bit of time to continue to run. And see how it's doing. Okay. So it's still gonna go ahead. Let's see. Is it ready? Okay, it's deployed. Beautiful. So actions require launch via CLI. Yeah, it's running. It's all running right now. So we have this running. Now, how do we test to see if this is actually working? Let me go to the logs and see Slack configured but not enabled yet. Gateway, blah, 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 browser control services ready, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now to see if this thing is working or not, I need to go and take the URL. So this is the URL, this is the host name. And let's go to it and see. Okay, there you go. So as you can see right here, this is our deployed stuff. And it's saying that unauthorized gateway token, open the dashboard URL and paste the token in the control UI settings. So this always happens when you deploy it for the first time. Basically it wants me to fill this out, this OpenClaw gateway token, which I will do shortly. It's in my .env file, the OpenClaw stuff. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this and I'm gonna drop it into this connect. All right, so it says gateway token is missing, open dashboard URL and paste token in this. So I already did that. Oh, that's wrong. It's actually right here, not there. So this is the token connect. So it says pairing required. Okay, so this always happens whenever you do this. There's going to be a need to run the pairing. Now you can't run the pairing easily. You have to run it through the CLI. You need to run the pairing through the CLI. So that's one funny thing about this. Those are the small things that you have to kind of contend with when you're using this. But it's all for security purposes. The reason we're doing it is for security, because when you deploy OpenClaw, you don't want anyone to just be able to just interact with this. So this is only going to be, the only person that can interact with this is someone who has done this pairing. So that's what this pairing is. So now I'm just going to go into my, let's go ahead and see. So it says everything is fine. All right, so I think I have it listed here, how to deal with pairing. Because I did this all a while back. So just trying to make sure that I remember exactly. Yes. Okay. So approve device.sh, set up trusted proxies. So these are all the things that you need to sort of do, like when you do on the approve device pairing. Create config file. Does this and this, that. Okay, so my skill also has information about this. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask it to run the device pairing. Okay, there's an active pending device pairing request, so I'm approving it via CLI to complete it. You know what? It figured it out. It figured it out. It just figured out that this was what it was missing, and basically it seems like it has paired it up. This is the beauty of using skills, by the way, right? The reason why I would say use skills is if you had to do all this stuff all by yourself, right? You had to go figure out how to sort of do the fly configuration. It would take you so much time. It's like, this is a very, very complicated setup. So all of it is now available in the skill. And all I just needed to do is tell it to go use the skill to do it. And this is why skills are just so cool. They're like the best. So now it's able to just do all of that work because it has all the instructions. It understands how to interact with it, how to do the pairing, all of that stuff. It's all cool. It's all good. I have to add this skill here to my GitHub, to my Codex app to make it easier moving forward for me to always use it for any OpenClaw installations. So I'm going to tell it to do that right after, once it's done. Okay, it seems like it's done right now. So it says this. Okay, please add the skill using the $ skill installer. So all you want to use is skill installer. Please add the skill installer using this guy to my list of skills. So if you find any skill that you like, and this is the beauty of the Codex, the way Codex does it, it's so visual, right? So you can see exactly what's going on. So if you see a skill that you like, you want to use it in Codex, all you need to do is just tell it skill installer, and it installs the entire thing for you. By the way, this is a cool experiment I've been running, and probably I'm gonna wrap things up very, very soon. Like I said, tomorrow we will get into it. Actually, before I wrap things up, just to make sure that you realize this is working, if I say hello, now it is, going to be able to answer, I believe, right? I say hello. What's the problem? Let's see the logs. That's a 7. This is 7. This is 9. Oh, why is the chat not working? Let's try with Slack. Let's try with Slack and see. I'm just going to go open up the let's see, Slack apps. I need to open the Slack app actually. Tools, apps. So CloudBot, OpenClaw. Okay. So open app. Say hello. Okay, I don't think it's fully connected probably. slash onboard. And I need to create a skill for this probably. Oh no, not slash onboard, slash model. Okay, so it says Anthropic Claude Opus. Oh, interesting. It's using Claude Opus 4.6. It's not using my model provider. So switch model providers in this. So let's say channel or channel. Okay, where are the channels? This is the channels, WhatsApp, Discord. I don't think Slack is connected. Configure, read, probe. Okay. So, but the chat doesn't seem to be working for whatever reason. It's not responding. Let's look at the logs. Canvas host mounted. Unknown name. Model Anthropic Opus 4.6. Something is wrong somewhere, but browser control service is ready. Listening on this. Something seems to be wrong because it's not responding for whatever reason. It's not responding. A new session was started. So hello. No, it's not responding. Even when the model says that we are using, it says we're using the right models in terms of configuration, environment, updates, agent, skills. No skills have been added. Tools, gateway. Okay, so I need to figure out why unsupported schema node from view can't safely edit modes. Okay, so actually we're gonna rely on our friend Codex app here to do some work for us, because I think one of the funny things is that when you use the deploy side of things, it's a little bit difficult to modify what you're doing. Let's see, fly this. Okay, bind land, bind configure, set secrets, deploy, create config file. Okay. Access gateway, fly open, logs, SSH console, troubleshooting. Okay, so I'm gonna take this again and tell it and explain to it what's going on. Okay, let's see if it's able to help us troubleshoot this. OpenClaw is fully deployed. However, I am running into an issue where the chat is unresponsive. Let's also configure Slack using the Slack credentials to get it working. All right, so I'm gonna add the Slack configuration. So go to channels, go to Slack DMs, default to pairing mode. So let's see if it's able to help us out here. All right, I need to be heading out very soon. I'm just reading something that OpenAI has just released a new coding assistant called Spark. And apparently Spark 5.3, see OpenAI, Spark. Let's see. Okay, so they've introduced 5.3 Codex Spark, which is a smaller version of 5.3 codecs and our first model designed for real-time coding. Awesome. Amazing. And they say it's really fast. They say it's good, but it's super, super fast. Wow. This is amazing. So accuracy is not as much as 5.3 codecs, but it's super fast to get things done. Okay. That is so cool. That is amazing. I just saw a notification about it. That's beautiful. That's just what we love. We want to see better models, great models that are out there that do interesting things for us. So which is pretty cool. Okay, let's see what this thing is saying. All right, so I found the main blocker. Slack is explicitly disabled in your live config. Okay, so this is what the problem is. Even though secrets are present, I'm enabling Slack pocketing open, restarting the machine, and then verifying socket mode connected. So again, I think this would be, in my view anyways, I think this would be like a really cool way to manage your deployed stuff, especially if you don't want to kind of get into, if you don't want to get into like the idea of like managing this yourself, this would be like the easiest way to manage it. I think it's redeployed and restarted after it. Socket mode connected. Okay, so let's try again with our Slack. Say hello. See if it's going to respond. Okay, beautiful. There we go. It has given us a pairing code. So it's connected now. So let me see if is this working now? Is the chat working now? Slack is working. Is chat working? Hey. Nope, still not working. Okay, anyways, we'll come back to that. We'll have our agent deal with it. So socket mode is up, and I'm applying one more practical trick, enabling commands. So your manifest command works immediately, and I'll verify via the logs. By the way, seems I need to pair it. Here is the message. So I'll just give it the pairing message. OpenClaw access is not configured. Ask bot owner to approve with this. So this could be a really cool way to kind of work with OpenClaw, is together with another agent that is helping you manage OpenClaw. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you're thinking through. Okay, so what I changed, OpenClaw, that is. Okay, so let's see. Do we have Spark here? We don't have Spark here yet. We need Spark. I need the Spark right here. Okay, I'll prove the Slapper fly instance and verify it succeeded. Okay, did it succeed? Let's see. Did it succeed? Parent approval, return success. I'm checking logs for any. This approved Slack sender. Socket mode is still connected. Okay, so let me do it again. Let's say hello. Oh, it's still not, it's not ready to go. All right, let's go back to it and say Slack mode is still connected and trying. Just got this response. Okay, so and I'll approve it immediately. So let's see if we can approve it right away. Okay, and this is so cool. Like it's able to interact with Fly with the console log, and then I'm checking the store pattern policies that keeps reach. See why Slack. Okay, still having issues. The parent files were written as root, so once the node they couldn't do this. Okay, and I think this might be something that we need to think about when you're hosting this. if you're hosting this, you probably need to host it in, you need to, if you're hosting it, you need to kind of think about like file system storage and stuff like that. You need to think about those things. Those are very important stuff. Okay, so approve latest code. Okay, root cause, file permission. So there was a file permission issue. There's so many moving parts when you're trying to host this yourself. Cloud. So please try sending a message again. Say /OpenClaw. /OpenClaw /OpenClaw OpenClaw. Hi. Okay, so it's still throwing this error. Still throwing the error, so it's telling me that it's still invalid. I'm just gonna tell it this, and let's see if it can go configure it. Okay, okay. I noticed this in the last time I tried to run it, that there were certain issues with the way the .env file, how it copied the secrets from my .env file into the fly secrets, and that's what's actually causing some of the problems. So that's why it's not even responding in the first place, because it's the way it's copied it is wrong. Well, and you get to see all the messy aspects of this, right? You get to see all the messy aspects. Now, I could have done it like step by step and things like I follow the steps and try to do it, but that would be like, yeah, okay. It's actually onto something here in terms of, oh, this is amazing. It was able to spot something that is so important. My anthropic key was wrong because it had SSK when it's supposed to be SK. See? It's pretty cool. I was able to find it, and that was the issue. Okay, so it's applying the correct key to fly, and it's going to redeploy it once it's done. That was the issue. Okay, conversation guy, problem guy. So my Slack is connected definitely, because you can see like this is actually coming from Slack, but the problem is just simply that my secrets were wrong. They were copied incorrectly, and it had like a wrong item there, so which is insane. But then that just shows you. Okay, so we're back online. Let's see. Hello. Yes. Great. We're back online. We're now online. Okay, so we're getting a response back, which is good. Let's see if we can get our Slack to get some kind of response. So Slack is still not getting a response. Let me open up. Let's see. This is a simple chat. So when I say hi, nothing is happening. Let's see if when I use the claw command, OpenClaw command /OpenClaw. Hello. So you can see the hello is here. And yes, we have it. So now we have our Slack connected, we have it hosted, and all of this. And I think I couldn't have done it as quickly and debugged all these issues without Codex app. So again, I think if you have that skill, so actually let me tell it. Please install the I'm just calling it OpenClaw Manager skill for Fly.io using skill installer. Let's say skill installer. Oh, it's already here. It's already here. Deploy mode boot. Okay, it's here. It's here. It's already installed. Okay, cool. That's fine. I mean, no issues. I have the skill right there. So moving forward, I'll just use the skill to manage the entire thing. Now, like I said, this would have taken us like a good few hours probably to build out this entire thing and do the configuration. But having a skill really makes it easy. So the next step or the next thing we're going to be doing, I'm going to try to have a session tomorrow or on Sunday, whichever one works best, where I'm going to be talking about like setting up all these other pieces. I didn't expect this to last this long, but that's how you have it. It's a little bit complicated to host these things, but there you have it. Yes, so I'll be coming back, like I said, tomorrow to walk through the actual setup on the business side, and then we'll continue from there. But thank you so much for the folks who have joined in. Really appreciate all the support and all the love. So thank you so much, and until next time, do have a great one.